Ukraine just pulled off one of its boldest drone attacks of the entire war. Hundreds of miles from the front lines, deep inside Russia, a key base of Russia's Baltic fleet was suddenly under attack. Explosions, fires, emergency responses. And according to Ukrainian officials, one of Russia's warships was hit while sitting in dry dock. This wasn't Crimea. This wasn't the Black Sea. This was near St. Petersburg, the historic heart of Russian naval power. So, how did Ukrainian drones reach one of Russia's most protected military regions? And what does this attack reveal about the future of warfare? Stay with us until the end, because the implications are much bigger than one damaged ship. And don't forget to subscribe to Cobalt. The strike happened as Russia was preparing for one of its most important annual economic events in St. Petersburg. Then the drones arrived. Reports indicate Ukrainian long-range drones targeted multiple strategic locations around St. Petersburg and the Kronstadt naval base, a critical hub for Russia's Baltic fleet. Ukrainian sources later released footage claiming a direct hit on the Russian corvette Boyki, a modern missile-equipped warship. Russian authorities confirmed drone attacks in the region, though damage assessments remain disputed. For Russia, the timing could hardly have been worse. The attacks occurred just as thousands of guests were arriving for Russia's flagship economic forum, often called Russia's Davos. Flights were disrupted, emergency services were activated, and smoke was reportedly visible from multiple locations. But this wasn't just about embarrassment. Ukraine appeared to be sending a message. No target inside Russia is completely safe. To understand why this attack is so significant, you need to understand Kronstadt. For more than a century, Kronstadt has been one of Russia's most important naval strongholds. Located on an island near St. Petersburg, it serves as a major base for Russia's Baltic fleet. This fleet protects Russia's access to the Baltic Sea and plays a major role in Moscow's military strategy in northern Europe. According to reports, Kronstadt remains one of the fleet's key operating centers and maintenance facilities. If Ukraine's strike truly damaged a warship there, it represents more than a tactical success. It demonstrates that Ukrainian drones can reach some of Russia's most sensitive military infrastructure, and that's exactly the kind of capability military planners pay attention to. Because distance is supposed to provide security, Ukraine is proving otherwise. The vessel reportedly targeted was the Russian corvette Boyki. This isn't some old patrol boat. It's a modern guided missile warship designed for anti-ship warfare, air defense, and anti-submarine operations. The ship carries missiles, advanced radar systems, and sophisticated sensors. According to Ukrainian reports and released footage, the vessel was struck while in dry dock at Kronstadt. Independent verification of the full extent of damage remains difficult, but multiple reports indicate emergency response activity around the ship following the attack. Even if repairs are possible, forcing a warship out of service can have operational consequences. A damaged ship isn't conducting missions. A damaged ship isn't training crews. A damaged ship isn't projecting power. And that's exactly why modern drone warfare has become so disruptive. What's happening here is part of a larger trend. Over the last year, Ukraine has increasingly shifted toward long-range strikes against military, industrial, and energy targets inside Russia. Oil terminals, weapons factories, air bases, naval facilities. The objective isn't necessarily to destroy everything. It's to impose costs. To force Russia to spend resources defending vast areas of territory, to create uncertainty, and to complicate military planning. The same wave of attacks reportedly struck oil infrastructure near St. Petersburg, continuing Ukraine's broader campaign against energy assets linked to Russia's war effort. For Ukraine, drones have become one of the most powerful tools available. They're cheaper than missiles, they're harder to stop completely, and they can threaten targets far behind the front lines. The real story may not be the ship. It may be the location. St. Petersburg is more than a city. It's one of Russia's most important political, economic, and military centers. If drones can reach targets there, Russian air defenses face a difficult challenge. Protecting a frontline battlefield is one thing. Protecting an entire nation is another. Russia says it intercepted dozens of drones during the attack and claimed many were destroyed before reaching their targets. However, the reported fires and visible impacts suggest at least some drones penetrated defensive layers. This is becoming a recurring theme of the war. Neither side can completely stop every incoming drone. And as drone technology improves, that challenge becomes even harder. The battlefield is expanding, not by tanks, not by infantry, but by autonomous systems capable of traveling enormous distances. This attack offers a glimpse into the future. For decades, major military powers invested billions in large warships, aircraft, bases, and traditional defenses. Now, relatively inexpensive drones are forcing those same powers to rethink everything. A drone costing a tiny fraction of a warship's value can potentially damage that ship. A swarm can overwhelm defenses. A strike hundreds of miles away can generate international headlines. That's a revolutionary shift. Military planners around the world are watching this war closely because Ukraine and Russia are testing technologies that could shape future conflicts everywhere. The lesson is becoming impossible to ignore. Range matters, precision matters, but adaptability may matter most of all. So here's the question. If Ukraine can strike a major Baltic fleet base near St. Petersburg today, what targets could be vulnerable tomorrow? The war is no longer confined to trenches and front lines. It now stretches across seas, energy networks, industrial centers, and military facilities deep behind enemy territory. And every successful long-range drone strike pushes warfare into a new era, one where distance no longer guarantees safety, one where a small drone can create strategic consequences, and one where the next major battlefield may be defined not by geography, but by reach. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe to Cobalt for more coverage of modern warfare, military technology, and the conflicts shaping our world. Thanks for watching.